My bully is in a coma, but his soul lives in the dream realm, and he's trying to possess me. Jackson Dent isn't a nice boy. Others speak of him in the past tense, but I don't. They view his bedridden body as little more than an intubated corpse. They're right, of course, but the boy's mind isn't sleeping. It has simply flitted elsewhere, hunting a new host. Many people see dreams as parallel worlds. I often wonder whether they realise just how accurate that might be. I don't fully understand this alternate plane of existence, but I do know, after consulting knowledgeable occultists in the chilliest corners of the internet, that my nightmares of Jackson Dent are real. Then again, the brutish bully had long encaged me in a waking nightmare. His reign of evil continued until a tragic event at the end of sixth form. A squabble between Dent and another boy, one of his many victims, ended with the bully stumbling into oncoming traffic. He's been in a coma ever since. That was nearly a year ago, and I'm currently over halfway through my first year at university. I still talk with friends from my hometown. Few people mourn the loss of Jackson Dent. I'd almost put the comatose cretin out of my mind until last weekend. Saturday night was a sober affair. I don't want you to make presumptions based on the tale I'm about to tell. I may be a student, but this was no drunken delusion. My dream was real. Of course, I didn't realise that at the time. It began as all dreams do. There was clarity to the concept, but not the visuals or the sound. Matter is woolly and indistinguishable in the dream realm, but not everything in this dream was vague. I was back at high school. Walking the hollow hallways, I became acutely aware of my click-clacking shoes. Dreams are usually soundless in my experience, and the farther I walked down the corridor, the more lucid everything became. The colours burned with such violent vibrancy, throbbing like a breathing organism. The lockers were covered in scribbles, horrifying words that chilled my core. Weak will, weak will, weak will. And then a ringing sound consumed me. It ascended towards a deafening crescendo. The noise iced my flesh, but not nearly as much as Jackson Dent, who was standing at the other end of the hallway. There was nothing supernatural or embellished about his dream form. He had always been frightening enough. A gangly boy with black, overgrown, unwashed hair, and a smile that evoked evilness in its purest strain. The smile slowly widened, and the fiendish boy uttered some parting words. "Let's trade, Will." When I woke from my night terror, drowning in sweat, I spent most of the day researching the meaning of dreams. I sought psychological answers, but found spiritual ones. I fell down some deep rabbit holes, and I eventually stumbled onto an occult forum. Strangers told me that Jackson's soul was trying to find a host. One of them teased that it was a nightmare on Will Street, which I didn't find very amusing. I still believed that I'd simply had a lucid nightmare, but that belief quickly dissipated as the day continued. I hadn't slept well, obviously, but I was mostly awake. However, I started to daydream during lectures. Is a daydream still a dream? Well, anyway, I caught glimpses of that ghastly grin on the faces of people. I know that makes no sense, but it was Jackson's smile. It was worn by my lecturer and various students in the hall. It was worn by an old lady with a stroller, a businessman, and a toddler on my walk home. Yawning incessantly, I kept pinching my hands and slapping my cheeks, much to my friend's amusement. I hoped to make the hallucinations stop by waking myself up. "Are you okay?" Fred asked. I turned to face him and screamed until my voice cracked. Jackson's head sat atop Fred's body. Not just his smile, but his face. His barren brown eyes. "What's the matter?" Jackson Dent asked, smiling malignantly from my friend's body. "You look weak, Will. Want somebody else to take the reins?" Jackson, still wearing my friend's body from the neck down, placed a tentative hand on my shoulder, and his palm started to melt through my clothes, as if the bully were hoping to assume control of my body through symbiosis. The paranormal parasite toppled his head to one side, perceiving me with inhuman eyes. What saved me was that I fell into the road. A white transit van screeched to a halt before me, and the sound of burning rubber, alongside a piercing car horn, finally snapped me out of my sleepy stupor. I was standing in the middle of the road, darting my eyes between a frustrated van driver and my horrified friend on the pavement. Fred's face had returned. I'm currently on hour 20 of sleep deprivation, and I don't know how much longer I'll last. I made a post on that occult forum, asking for help with my situation, but nobody's responded. I need a solution soon. I won't be able to stay awake forever.